Welcome back to Call The Midwife. I'm Becky.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Jen. Hello. Just want to apologize to our thousands of listeners out there at the beginning of this episode. I have a little bit of some coughing and congestion, so my voice is just going to sound like this. All right, but
a sexy husky voice.
That's what I'm going to tell myself, that this is, just a different incarnation. Okay. We begin the episode. Sister Evangeline and Jenny are going to deliver Shirley's baby. Shirley's previous pregnancy ended in a stillbirth, and both she and her husband are anxious for a healthy baby to be born. Shirley delivers a healthy, happy daughter, and all is well. Next, we meet Mrs. Margaret Jones, an expectant mother who has just moved to Poplar with her husband. She begins to feel unwell and suffer from headaches, and she goes to the maternity clinic in advance of her regular OBGYN appointment, but leaves before she is seen by anyone. Back at Nana's house, Trixie, Cynthia, and Jenny are getting ready to go to a dance with Officer Noakes and Jimmy as a group of 6. Chummy and Officer Noakes have been on another date, and this dance will be date number 3. Jenny and Jimmy have been going out as well, and the girls tease her about a potential budding romance. While Trixie and Cynthia are riding to their next delivery, they are stopped by a man calling for help with his wife. Margaret Jones has just had what looks like a seizure in the car, and Cynthia advises Mr. Jones to take her straight to the hospital when she tells him she will follow. When she gets to the hospital, Cynthia finds out Margaret has lost her baby and that she had eclampsia, which she will not recover from. Shirley is at home cleaning when her husband comes in from work and asks where their daughter is. Shirley has left her in her pram just outside their front door, but she's gone. A search for the baby begins. Cynthia continues working with the Joneses and helps Mr. Jones as he struggles with letting his wife go. Once he is able to say goodbye to her, Margaret dies peacefully. Cynthia is deeply touched by their love story and shares her experience with Jenny. When Mr. Jones sends Cynthia a record of Margaret performing with the orchestra she was a violinist for, everyone at Nana's house stops to listen. Meanwhile, Officer Noakes takes Jenny to investigate a lead on Shirley's missing baby, thinking that the newborn may be in need of medical care. Jenny discovers that the woman who took the baby is Mary, a teenage prostitute who had to give up her baby months earlier. Jenny cared for her during that time, and she convinces Mary to return the baby safely and advocates for a more lenient sentence for her crime, knowing how much she has suffered with her own loss. Sister Julienne and Sister Evangeline talk to Shirley and her husband, and though they are initially resistant, Shirley, understanding the pain and grief of losing a child at birth, offers to speak on Mary's behalf. So that's what the episode was about, and just a little warning for everyone. Obviously some very sensitive topics were touched on there. We'll be expanding and discussing. So if anything isn't appropriate for you this week, we'll see you in the next one. But girls, what did we think? This episode has a lot going on.
Firstly, Jen, that was the most thorough.
It was.
Synopsis. Like literally.
Also, can I just highlight how American you are by referring to an OBGYN appointment? Because we just have to go to the GP.
I thought about that. What do you guys call it?
We just go to our GP, the general practitioner. I suppose there are gynecologists if you're in hospital. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's not smear. It's not smear, though, is it? It was like a midwife appointment.
Yeah, but if you were if you were having a baby, which is obviously what this podcast is all about, it would be a midwife.
Yeah. Well, I used to just go and see the midwife like every however long you had to do it.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, truly, like we could devote a whole episode between the difference of American versus British healthcare systems. And I mean, they are wild and fascinating differences. I put that in and I was like, well, I wonder if that's what you guys would call it. But
also, can I just say you did call Mary a prostitute again? And I'd just like to point out that it's actually a sex worker via duress. So really, she's groomed. Anyway, that's by the bag.
Yes, prostitute is not the correct term in reality for her, but
yeah.
Sorry.
So which storylines should we talk about first?
I think we should go for one of the sadder ones to start so that we can have like a mental relief later on when we talk about funner ones.
Okay, so who are we going with first? Either Shirley.
I think let's go with Margaret Jones. I just love this storyline.
Oh, it's so sad.
She was the most glamorous woman that's ever lived. And then she moved to Poplar. You're like, whatever.
I know.
I mean, you're normally the inverted snob, Alex.
Yeah.
But I didn't warm to them.
Really? Even after you found out about their love story, you didn't care about it?
No, I was just like, he's twice her age. That's inappropriate.
Oh, I didn't think it was twice.
Jen, she was double his fitness.
that was the standout thing. But okay, can I just say, we've already said it, but let's put it on record again. Call the Midwife truly is a show about finding love no matter what, no matter anything. And like, truly, I don't know, I love their love story. Like when he says, oh, I'm really bad with women, and my friends took me to this concert and I like fell in love with her right away, but I was too like shy to ask her out. And then we ran into each other. He was like a teacher as well, which I thought was so cute. And then we ran into each other later and she's like, well, what took you so long? And I just thought, and also I bet you she dated a lot of jerks too, because maybe she just was like,
they didn't really date a lot in them days, did they? It was kind of like you met someone and that was it, you got married.
Yeah,
you would say he's like, we've only known each other a year, I think. Is that right? I think
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't think I warmed to him as much because obviously I knew the backstory of him in real life, and he is actually the husband now, but he was the boyfriend then of Jenny Lee in real life.
Wait. Okay, at the time they made this episode, he and Jenny Lee were dating?
Yeah.
So did they meet on Call the Midwife, or they were dating already?
No, they met in a play they did, and he was married with teenage kids. And
like Gerald.
Like Gerald, and he left it just like Gerald, and he left. But Gerald didn't leave his wife, but he left his wife, and now, to be fair, they are married and they've got a kid and stuff. You don't know any of the details behind it, but I don't know. It
oh my gosh,
hint on him.
No. Wow, art imitates life, because she's also out of his league too. If you're going to go by those two.
I don't mean tint. It tainted him.
Tainted him.
Yeah.
Well, let's remember that when.
Wow.
Let's remember though that when this podcast hits the big time, and obviously all the cast tune in, we don't want to alienate anybody.
We've already said we don't like Jenny Lee. It's fine. We like everyone. We love everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I don't dislike Jenny. And
I don't. I was joking. She'd be more than welcome to come here and defend herself. Okay. so she was so glam. The wife, Margaret.
So she was so beautiful. Yeah. Also, can I say they had quite like a cute, like romantic scene as well. Like when you kind of first meet them, they're like unpacking boxes and, they're like smooching and everything. And I thought, oh, wow, this is a little bit different. Usually they don't show. I feel like the show, like, even though it deals with like all these things kind of around sexuality, it hardly ever shows people doing anything, like not even really kissing or whatever. It's very tame that way. And so it was kind of,
or if it does, it's like gritty. It's not like romantic.
Yeah, it's like someone like throwing. Yeah, it's like someone like being really horrible about it. A la Mary. I mean, to be honest, like yeah. Oh, can I just say though, like I was really touched by Cynthia in the scene with Jenny, kind of towards the end of this part of the storyline, where they were sitting there and she's like really feeling very emotionally invested in this couple, and she talks and she says she believes in soulmates, and they kind of made her believe in soulmates. Do you guys believe in soulmates? It's okay. I mean, okay.
We just had an argument about the dishwasher not being done, so I don't know. Maybe you should have asked me before that. Maybe before I had a chat with someone, I did.
I did feel bad for Cynthia in this episode, because she says to Jenny that she was short because Margaret Jones comes to the clinic and then she speaks to Cynthia and then she leaves quickly. Yeah. So Cynthia says she thought she was short with her. I didn't think she was short with her at all. I thought Margaret Jones was being a bit of a snob, demanding to see a doctor.
Also, she was busy as heck the whole time.
Exactly. And also there was that woman threatening her in the surgery, like in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Her daughter wanted to touch her, but I'd be like, no, get off me. Urgent.
Well, Cynthia, I think Cynthia is truly one of the most introspective characters on the show, definitely, but like in many, like they write her as having so much thoughtfulness about what she does with reflection and everything,
which explains a lot in future.
I know. Yeah, it really paves the way for it. But Well, look, no one asked me because I posed the question, but I'll just say this. I don't believe that there's only one person on earth that you can be happy with, or that you can fall in love with, or that you can find true love with. But I do believe that there are special people in your life, and that special people you meet that are kind of exceptionally different than other people that you would connect with. And of course, that can be a romantic partner. But here's maybe a controversial take. I also do think that soulmates can be not just romantic people in your life, but they can be friends. They can be, any, family. You can have a family member that's a soulmate. I do think that, I mean, okay, I'm just going to say, I'm feeling very like woo-woo today. I'm on a lot of cold medicine and like, I'm really tired.
I was going to ask you if you've taken any cold medicine.
I'm literally drinking it. Right now, I've already had some. I mean, I don't have to drive this afternoon, so I just thought like dose myself up. And also it's like been really hot, so I think my brain is a bit bleached. So this isn't making a lot of sense. I apologize, but just to say, I feel very open-minded about the concept of souls.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit like you get lucky if you like each other. And even then you put up with things just because you're like, oh, right,
That's
well, he's
true.
better than, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or she's better. Anyway, so Becky, do you want to answer if you believe in soulmates?
Yeah, I agree with what Jen said. I think there can be special people who aren't necessarily romantic relationships.
Yeah. Well, as Sister Evangelina said, there is a sock for every old slipper.
There we go. So actually, let's talk about that is such a good segue into kind of quote the more fun storyline, which is like all the girls' relationships and the dances and the dates and all that jazz.
I have to say that, so there's kind of this thread kind of runs throughout the episode, and there's a bit at the start where Jimmy rings Jenny, and everybody's in the hallway basically listening in on their conversation, and I was like, this is me. I would literally be around that corner listening to what was being said, shushing people if they were trying to talk to me so I could hear.
Do you know
how much we've lost? Go ahead, sorry.
Well, Sister Bernadette was there, and that was a big thing because obviously,
she gets very into, like, she's so excited when they're getting ready to go out and things, which is also another clue for.
I'm making kind of. Ooh, I think they're starting to allude to something with Sister Bernadette, perhaps.
Well, yeah, because obviously towards the end, she takes a veil. Is it a veil? What's it called? The habit. Wimple. Well done, Merrick Mark. She takes a wimple off, and then she's looking in the mirror like, oh, and she is beautiful, and she's there with all her hair, and you've never seen her hair before, so it was actually quite a, what's the word?
Revealing.
Yeah, but also like not a shock to the viewer, but it was also like the first time the viewer had seen her hair and stuff as well, so it was like a big reveal. And she was there looking in the mirror like, oh, I'm a normal girl. And like they'd obviously gone to the dance and had a great time, and she was kind of wistfully just like stood there glancing at them gone.
Yeah. Well, and we don't find this out until later on, so I won't really spoil anything. But I think one thing that I had when I started watching the show was just kind of assuming that like all the nuns were nuns, and just kind of like they sprang forth that way. But what I think Sister Bernadette's very interesting about her is that I apologize, I'm trying not to cough, is that you learn more about her history, and so this kind of questioning that they're starting to allude to with these storylines is also going to come to bigger fruition, because we may have to.
It's also her age as well, though, isn't it? Because they're all young girls of a certain age, and she's not old.
How old is Sister Bernadette really supposed to be, though? She looks either like 25 or 40. I cannot get a grip on it.
I'm guessing like early 30s.
Okay, that makes sense.
But aren't they all supposed to be fairly young?
Yeah.
Well. Sister Julian looks like she's in her 50s, definitely.
Oh yeah, no, but young girls. We're talking about the young midwives, like obviously.
You've
got it's like basically university age. I think like 21, 22, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, Jenny says, she's only like 22 when she starts, right? Or 23 or
21 was she? Oh, no, 20. Bloody no, to be honest with you.
Oh, anyway.
She did say like, oh, I'm 19. She was like, oh, I'm 20 or something.
Yeah, they all seem on the youngish side. Okay, but so then Chummy and Officer Noakes go on a date. I mean, they go. The thing that made me laugh in this episode too was when Trixie tries to teach Chummy how to behave in a restaurant as like a quote like sexy woman and everything. She's like, oh, scan the menu, and when you see something, pronounce it as if it's the most alluring words you've ever heard. I mean, that was a really like lol scene. And then when Chummy makes fun of her by going, fish and chips. I mean, that really had me going.
But you know what really touched me? The scene where so like Chummy and Peter are so pleased and excited to see each other, but like they're proper like smell, it's so giddy. And I was like, oh, and then he moved the washing out the way for her in like a really grim setting. Those two have like found gold in like the grimmest of settings. And he moves the washing out.
Is that when he'd basically been hanging, he'd checked the rotor and then just been hanging around outside a block of flats for half an hour?
Yeah. And it was so cute because it's like something you really only do like when you have such a crush on somebody, you know, like it almost reminded me of like when you're in school and you have a crush on a boy and you're like, well, I know he has like this class right now, so I'm just gonna like wait in the hallway and like pretend to be like here for a reason, just in the hopes that like when he comes out, like I'll get to see him even for like 1 second.
I'm not gonna lie, Jen, I've never done that.
Well, sadly, I have done that. I'm not proud of it. Okay. And when I say school, I mean, this was like now, you know, a really long time ago. I didn't do it like last week or anything. It was just like in my
whatever, that's where you've just come from, innit? Hanging around.
Yeah, I still just go around high schools like waiting for cute boys to pop out of math class.
Like Margaret Jones's husband, just there waiting for young girls, young violinists.
I have to say though, I thought Trixie's lesson in seduction, I just cringed the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh.
I'm yet to warm up to Trixie. I will get there.
Well, yeah, but I think she's supposed to be quite abrasive at the moment, isn't she? Like, she's I know what I'm doing. I'm this girl around town, that kind of stuff. Also, just really quick on the Sister Bernadette thing. Tell you what we actually were introduced to for the first time as well. The pianos of Sister Bernadette. So, you know, when she's at first like wistfully looking and doing her hair, and she's like, we're on a Zoom call right now, listeners, so I'm going to do an impression, but this actually will mean nothing to anyone else because you can't see it. But basically, I'm doing this thing, pretending I'm taking my wimple off. So it's a very good acting. Honestly, you're missing out.
Oh, it looks so realistic.
But then they've got the pianos that it's just the same. Whenever she thinks about basically, am I doing the right thing in life? These two pianos start playing. Now I've told you about it. You've got to listen. Everyone, I'm going to listen out for it.
I literally never noticed.
It's like her theme. It's like her theme, and they always play it when something bad happens towards the end as well with her life and stuff. But anything involving her, it's very much those two pianos that play.
Now that Alex has said about it, we'll probably just notice it all the time.
Oh, yeah, you know what though? I didn't notice that, and I'm really glad you brought it up. And that just goes to show like how absolutely dedicated and like maniacally you've watched the show over the past bunch of years. But the other thing, you know how we talked about the klaxon at the beginning of in the first episode? Here's another klaxon I think we need to have. The Horlicks klaxon. Or Horlicks. Horlicks. Have a cup of Horlicks. If I swear to that show has bought stock in Horlicks. Like it is truly an unbelievable phenomenon on that show. Those girls literally live and die by the Horlicks drinking that they have to
drink something else as well. I'm sure they call it something else.
Well, don't even get me started on the baby sham phase. We haven't gotten there, but there's a whole episode that's literally all about baby sham, and we're gonna have to talk about it. But I mean, we're not there yet. But
I think is the Horlicks to signify the fact that like they're on a night shift. Do you know what I mean? It's to
Well, okay, but what is Horlicks? I imagine it's like hot chocolate. Is that right?
I think it's not nice. I think it's like a bedtime drink. It's like a malted bedtime drink, hot drink.
I remember Ovaltine. It was like that,
Ovaltine. Okay, I know Ovaltine. I know Ovaltine. Yeah, gotcha. Also, you know what else is really cute? When they were at the dance and Officer Noakes asked Chummy to dance, and she was like, well, I really don't think that's a good idea because I'm a terrible dancer. And he's like, well, I'm a terrible dancer either, so just like take a chance on me. And then what does she say? It's like the most nerdy comment, but it's so cute. It's like, well, don't write me up for public endangerment or something like that. And I just, oh my God. And he's just like, I won't. And then they like go off and it's just, I mean, oh my God, it's so flipping cute.
I love him. I just love him. And Cynthia's there, like, just living life. I just love it. I just love those scenes. I think they're so fun and lovely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even Jimmy and Jenny are cute in that scene too. Like, he comes over with the beers and they, yeah, I don't know. Still got a soft spot for Jimmy. Sorry. I don't know what to say. It's that floppy blonde hair. Just gets me. Anyway,
I've also watched him in Casualty, so I do have a soft spot for Jimmy.
Yeah. He's just a cutie. I mean, I'm not saying it's like he's my type or whatever, but he's just cute. I mean, anyways, okay. So now we got to devote some time to Shirley, because this is actually a lot going on here.
Well, the first scene is like, obviously, the first scene is Jenny Lee getting woken up brutally and unsympathetically by Sister Evangelina, because obviously the midwives get up at like the 5 a.m. or something.
It was like the verbal equivalent of like a cold bucket of water, like getting thrown right on her head.
And then they get to Shirley, and basically it's kind of intimated that she'd had some issues mentally beforehand, hadn't it? And then it's like, oh, it's because she's like, I ain't gonna be born dead like last time, is it? Which is awful accent. I do apologize.
Which I thought was just quite,
that sounds as bad as what I would do.
Abrupt of her to just, I don't know. It came across as like, I mean, obviously they've got to get across that is the storyline.
Listen, not all exposition is going to be a beautiful.
Yeah, but
of course you would be, but you wouldn't be like, is it going to be born dead?
Yeah, I think you would be though. I probably would.
I think I'd just be like, is the baby okay?
Well, you've got better manners than me. I genuinely thought my daughter had died, and I shouted, "Is it dead?" I didn't even know what it was, and I was like, "Is it dead? Is it dead? Have I killed it?"
Yeah, but I mean, it clearly it was stated that way just so that the audience would know. I mean, that was definitely.
I genuinely do think I would say that.
Okay, well.
The scene that killed me. So basically, she'd had a healthy baby and everything was good. Little baby Gillian, everything was great. They were all dead chuffed, but she was in loads of pain, screaming. And the dad, obviously, they'd been through hell and back losing a baby.
Yeah.
And then obviously in Call the Midwife, and especially in this time, not just in Call the Midwife, in this time, men did not go into the delivery room. And obviously, she was having it at home, and she literally ran up the stairs to her, and then he was there,
burst in the room.
Yeah, but the baby was fine. I just thought, oh, bless him. Can I just tell you something? Well, my granddad weighed 10 pound 10 at home birth, and she went on to have another 11 kids. Yeah.
Well, I bet the other 11 just slid right out. I mean, after that one, well, you basically got like a child's playground slide for, Sorry, that's your grandma. I didn't mean to say that about your
granddad. Yeah, no, it's awful.
Granddad.
His mum was tiny as well. Anyway, that's by the by.
Oh gosh.
So anyway,
also this is a very this is not important, but don't you think that Shirley's husband was really cute as well?
Yeah, he was fit.
I thought he was a lovely husband as well, because I mean, normally it's very much like the women are left to the children, but he was dancing with the baby and just very.
Yeah, he was really a cute husband. Like, there are some, as we've discussed, those like husbands are a real mixed bag on the show, but he was really cute.
He was a bit of a dirty dog though, because he was asking how soon he could resume marital relations.
Yeah, but with his wife, so it's okay. It's moral. Hello. So anyway,
you can be a disgusting sexual pervert as long as you are doing it with your spouse. That is what this.
And it's consenting.
Consensual, exactly. Okay, but now the other thing that I think took us all by storm, literally leaving your children in carriages outside of your home for hours, or not hours, but like extended periods of time, and just thinking that's going to be fine.
Now,
I mean, I cannot imagine, okay, so I told you guys this before we got on this, started the pot recording, but the reason I have this cold is because I just visited my nephews, and they're about 9, they're going to be 10 months old on this. Anyway, this week, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter to our listeners when they're going to be 10 months old. But point is, I was taking care of them. If I thought about leaving them alone, unattended for even 1 minute outside of a protected, safe area, my brain would explode. I could never imagine just leaving them just out. And then just walking away and being like, oh, I'm just going to go clean my house now. I mean, that to me was one of the hugest social conventions that I think has just changed over time that the show
Yeah, there are babies everywhere. Hallways, stairwells.
Oh yeah. There's a scene in a later episode where like all the women go into like the parish hall for something, and they literally leave like 15 baby prams with babies in them just lined up like it was like a bike rack or something like that.
But it used to be like that. Like I questioned that to my mom, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like it was really normal."
Yeah, no one would think twice because
also everyone had loads of kids. Like my mum was unusual where she was from because she was one of 3. And my mum's from an Irish Catholic family in Middlesbrough, but like literally, like all of her cousins had like 9 brothers and sisters, all that kind of stuff. Like, and it was just really unusual to have like 3. And it was only because my grandma kept having miscarriages. So like, that's why. But like literally there was just prams everywhere, all down the street, the kids. And obviously you've got to remember there was no cars really. So kids were just playing on the street out the front. Like,
well, and you think about, like close, tight knit community. I mean, everybody did really know each other. Poplar illustrates that point all the time. But anyway, so that was the vehicle for Mary being able to take Shirley's baby, and
the ominous figure that just lurks in the background.
I definitely did not have any premonition watching the episode that it was going to be a flashback to a character we'd already met before. When it was, I thought it was really great that they tied that together and everything, but I didn't know that was going to happen.
So Mary steals the baby. Yeah. And there's a scene, so Officer Noakes is now investigating the kidnapped child. And there's a scene in it where he's basically stopping people in the street, and he stops this man. It's like, "Excuse me, sir." And then this woman with a pram literally walks past them. And I'm like, hang on, why don't you check that baby?
Yeah, I really need to inspect these shopping bags, but that baby carriage over there, nope, sail on by. Don't even worry about it at all.
I actually first saw this.
It took so long for him to get promoted.
But I actually first saw this episode, and the actual bit when they like, obviously she's inside cleaning, and he's like, "Oh, where's the baby?" And she's like, "He's outside in our papers." And he's like, "She's not," and she's like, "What?" And then they like run out, and like I really thought it was really well acted. But like, because it was proper terror, and they were like, "Where's the baby?" all screaming around as you would. But I actually watched this. As I've said before, I only started watching Call The Midwife because basically I was going in therapy because I had a really bad birth and a really horrible time. And I was advised to start trying to like have some aversion therapy. So they were like either one born every minute or Call The Midwife and one born every minute. I still can't, it's brutal. So I thought, right, I'll go with something that's fictional. And oh my God, I remember the first time I watched this, obviously I had a newborn daughter still, like she was a few months old by this point, but the emotions that evoked in me, like the daughter going missing, like honestly, I can't tell you, like I had to turn it off, and it took me like 5 attempts to watch it.
Have we talked about how much the show makes all of us cry all the time?
You talk about every time.
I think it's just you, Jen.
Really?
Oh, I've cried, Jen. I've cried a lot, Jen.
Every episode.
Becky's dead on the inside.
Okay, that tracks.
Really cold.
Yeah, no, but I swear, I mean, it's like every episode. I've literally started crying within the first 2 minutes of some of these episodes.
I think I have cried once. I have cried once or twice, but yeah, not regular.
Oh man, yeah, this one was an emotional one. I will say, I can't remember what exactly made me start crying on this episode, but I mean, take your pick.
Mine was definitely that bit when they were screaming. Yeah. Anyway, so it goes missing. And also, you've got to remember as well that Gillian's mum, Shirley, she lost a baby last time and was basically catatonic because obviously it must have been so traumatic. I can't even imagine. Like, birth's traumatic when I had a living child. I can't even imagine. Yeah. I just don't even imagine.
Don't they even question her about her mental health history as part of the investigation?
Yeah, basically, because if you remember in the waiting room, she was like, "Oh, I could wring her neck because she kept me up all night," like a joke. And this horrible bitch on her road was just like told on her. The one who basically shooed Margaret Jones out of the.
Yeah, exactly. They call her something really rude, but I can't remember what they say. They're like, she's like. Yeah, no, but I'm saying they call that lady who is such a mean mother. They call her like I don't know.
I can't remember.
Sorry, apologies to everyone. Like my brain is not all the way here, but anyway,
if you know it, message us or email us.
Yeah, exactly. Like audience, help us out here. What rude epithet do they refer to this woman as in the episode? But anyways, but then we discover it's Mary. We figure out that she's
Kathleen.
Oh,
not Mary.
Yeah. Well, no, Mary's the
sex worker,
current / former,
the groomed child,
human trafficked person that
Mary.
But Kathleen is the baby that she lost in the previous episode.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Who I thought was really brutal. So anyway, she kidnaps the baby, has it for 2 days, is trying to feed it milk. That's how she's caught out in it.
Right. Like cows.
Yeah, she's having to steal the milk.
Yeah.
So and then there's also a really horrible scene where I don't know where the hell she's put the baby at this point, but she's trying to like get men to go with her because that's the only way she knows how to earn money.
Make money, yeah.
Father Joe was correct. Anyway,
she literally puts the baby in a cardboard box with a lid on it. That's what she does. I do remember that because the baby's crying and then she just puts the lid on it and she's like, "Oh, I guess you'll go to sleep now." And it's like, honey, no, that's not how babies work. But
anyway, so the baby wouldn't drink any of the milk, which is obvious, like it wouldn't drink it.
It's gonna make her
she's like getting really annoyed with it, and then she's like getting really like, just drink the milk, and then the bottle smashes, and Mary and Peter walk in, and Mary's like, I know her, and starts.
No, Jenny walks in.
Oh, did I say Mary? Sorry, everyone. Sorry, the thousands of listeners. Anyway, and I'm tired. So anyway, she said this line that really annoyed me. I was a bit like, how dare you steal this baby and then say this about her? So she stole this baby, and Jenny, there was this big thing about like the mum had knitted an outfit as well, hadn't they? The grandma had knitted an outfit for this baby, so it had to be Gillian, so they knew it was her. Right. Jenny's like, oh, she's a bit floppy and she's going a bit blue in the lips. Like, she really needs water as soon as possible. She needs, and Mary's like, I knew it wasn't my Kathleen. My Kathleen's prettier. You're like, Mary, you've stolen this lovely newborn kid, and then you're saying it's not pretty enough for you.
Yeah, but I mean, are we really going to be trusting Mary's not really all the way there at this point, so I think we can forgive her like a few off-color remarks about like the baby that she's stolen.
But if you're stealing a baby, at least appreciate it. You know what I mean?
That's true. She does not show little baby Gillian enough respect. Yeah. And that is another reason why she's not allowed to keep that baby. Mainly the reason is that it's not her baby, which is why she can't keep it. But also,
and it's about to die under her care. But yeah,
exactly. I will say it was. I thought it was interesting that Jenny said, "Oh, do you see how she's gone a bit floppy?" Like it almost sounded like, I don't know. Floppy just was a funny word to me. That's not an interesting point, but
that's what they use over here medically. Still floppy.
Floppy.
Yeah. Ugh. It's a very British term. What can I say?
But it's very descriptive. It gets right to the point.
It does.
Well, yeah, you Brits are nothing if not descriptive and get right to the point, people.
Right. Also, just on this, the last bit was when obviously Mary was really shaken. Not Mary. God, what is wrong with me today? Jenny Lee was really shaken by obviously what had happened, and it had been a big day and stuff, and the whole thing of this really traumatic episode, literally. Mm-hmm. And then obviously poor Cynthia was also very traumatized by the whole thing with Margaret and the is it David, the dad? The father?
Yeah,
I literally
lost the child as well.
Mr. Jones the whole time. Yeah,
no, it was awful. So anyway, but he then sent her Cynthia a record of Margaret's violin playing.
Yes.
So they were listening to it lying down at the end. Now I lie down and listen to music. It's my favorite thing to chill me out. I lie down.
That is true.
I lie down on the floor. It's the best. Honestly, if you've never tried it, I'd recommend it. Lie down on the floor, listening to music is the best thing in the world. It's the most relaxing. I don't know what it is. It's about the earth or something. I don't know, but it's amazing. Yeah. And when I'm in a really bad mood, I listen to the heaviest music, but also I love listening to any music lying down. But they're there, and it just spoke to my soul. It made my soul sing.
Well, it just goes to show, listen, if it's a classic for a reason. Lying on the floor listening to music is a classic. Never goes out of style.
Yeah, true.
So, and then I'll just very, very fast at the end, and I know I covered this in my synopsis, but the compassion for Mary and the advocacy on some leniency in her sentencing, I thought was actually a really, really wonderful touch, because they didn't really have to. They didn't really have to put that in there. But the other thing that I thought it really reinforced is kind of the strong female network and dynamics in the show, because Jenny talks to Sister Julian about it, and then her and Sister Julian and Sister Evangeline go and talk to Shirley and her husband about it. And the husband is like, no, get out of here. I literally don't want to hear it. I can't even think about it. Like, leave before I say something rude. And then Sister Evangeline, as she's walking out, she says, Shirley, you know what it's like to have lost your baby. Like, you don't have to do anything, but I'm just saying, like, you know what this girl is going through. And then they walk out of the house, and then she runs out and she says, tell me what I have to do to speak on her behalf. And I just thought, just, yes, it was just so beautifully written. It was just a true gem at the end of an episode.
But one thing, her name's Sister Evangelina, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been really annoying me.
Wait, what have I been saying? What have I been
Sister
saying?
Evangeline.
Oh, Evangelina. Sorry.
We've all corrected each other a lot in this episode.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's just gonna.
I think we're all a bit tired. Anyway, right.
The next time we record, all of us have to be not ill, not exhausted, not like, way more.
Good luck. I've got a 5-year-old's birthday party on Saturday. So listen.
Okay.
Heroes and zeros of the week. Rebecca, first.
My hero is a shout out to Shirley and Rod Redmond's dog, because no one's got pets in Call The Midwife, but they've got a little dog, and he's the best behaved dog in the world. And when Ron is stood outside waiting for his wife to give birth, that dog is just sat on the step keeping him company.
Aww,
that is actually a very strange thing, but I like it. Carry on. What's your zero, Bex?
I think just Margaret and David Jones in general.
He died and lost the baby, and he lost his wife and baby, and you've given them zeros.
This is like, they got what they deserved.
Right.
Wow, stone warm to them.
Stone cold.
Right, Jen, your turn.
Okay. Hero is Chummy and Officer Noakes. Every single second of them is pure bliss. I love them so much. And my zero is zero. Sex trafficking.
That's always a zero.
That's a good zero to have.
I mean, it's a perennial, right? Like,
I don't think he's ever going to be a hero, so I agree.
Yeah, because you know what? That's the system that created Mary's situation, and then that led to further crime and suffering. So you know what? Just, I don't like it. I'm never going to like it.
My hero is, I forgot her name, Cynthia. Oh my God, what's wrong with me today? Cynthia. I just thought she was lovely and patient and beautiful. My zero is Trixie, for having a go at Cynthia when she's obviously having a really troubled time, being like, I don't believe in someone. What do you mean you believe in someone? Are you stupid? You stupid little girl. Like, she wasn't that bad, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, she was too harsh.
Yeah. But listen, a good episode, I think.
Yeah, another one in the books, and this one was a big one. So well done, you guys.
And thank you very much for listening to Recall The Midwife. Please carry on rewatching and listening with us every week.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.